I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laakson.
I am Francisco Cerundolo,
and you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. I had it on loop. That's my fault. But we are here to watch Iga SWIATEK, the in-form girl on the women's side. Not many people can stop her, but she hasn't been as good in the last few tournaments. There's been a few losses, and she's shown some weaknesses. This is another Masters event, of course, in Cincinnati. We know how good she does in the Masters events, but it didn't go to plan for her in Toronto. Was it Toronto or was it Montreal? I forget which one. But in Canada, it didn't go to plan where she ended up losing. Sloane Stephens, on the other hand, not been the greatest of years. Let's have a look at some of her most recent results. Of course, the big one was beating Elise Cornet. We thought we'd get a repeat of the Wimbledon match with Elise Cornet and Iga. It didn't materialize. Sloane Stephens beat Cornet. Apart from that, she's not won many matches. I mean, she even struggled through Kenin in 3 sets in Toronto, which is never a good sign because everyone's beating Kenin right now. And you don't want to be dropping sets against Sofia Kenin. It's not a good place to be. In terms of other matches, she was okay at Roland Garros, got for a few rounds. But Sloane Stephens, I'm not sure if she can pose a test to Iga. We know how dominant she has been this year, and I wouldn't read into some of the recent defeats too much. I mean, the last one against Hadid Maya went all the way to the depths of a third set. It was 7-5. And the other one, the one I was most shocked about was the one in actually Poland, but that also went to 3 sets against Caroline Garcia, and she's having a great year. So I can't see a way that Iga loses this one, if I'm honest. Hadid Maya is a better player than Sloane Stephens right now, and Elise Cornet is capable of a big upset, so I wasn't that shocked with that at Wimbledon. So my prediction is Iga in straight sets. Let me know what you guys think. This match has kicked off, and Iga, the number 1 player in the world, number 1 seed for this event, is 1 game to love up against the wildcard Sloane Stephens. Yeah, let's get some predictions in. Yeah, MQR saying Iga will demolish her. Demolish is strong, but I can see it happening. Raducanu demolished Azarenka not too long ago. That was, for a moment, I thought it might have been a double bagel, but it wasn't. And Azarenka managed to clutch at a few games in the second set and reduce the embarrassment by only 2 games. We had Mertens beating Pliskova earlier. Pegula come through Kostyuk. Ons Jabeur was, that was a crazy match with Kati McNally. Went all the way to a tie break. She won 9-7. And I believe the last time, so listen to this for a start, the last time Iga lost her opening round match, opening match at a tournament, because of course she gets buys often to the first round, was in Cincinnati last year. And the player who that was to was Ons Jabeur. And that is a stat I've pulled out of my head. So hopefully it is correct. I'm pretty sure it is, though. I did do a little bit of research before this one, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But I find that pretty incredible, really, that she's pretty reliable, Iga. Don't look into the last few results so much, but she is, out of all of the women on the tour, the most consistent. You kind of know what you're going to get from her. And she goes through rounds. She's not someone who goes out in the first round or even the second round, like this one being a bye. And here we go. 3 break points into the serve. Oh, it's a clean winner. Sloane Stephens letting one rip cross court. And she saves one of the break points. Beautiful winner there from Sloane Stephens. King of Just getting a prediction in, going 2-6, 7-6, 6-4 to Stephens. No, Stephens will not take a set today. She really won't. M's going with a 6-4, 6-1. I'm going for something more comfortable. I'm going to go with a 6-2, 6-2, a 2 and a 2. And just like that, Iga, right on cue, gets the early break. It wasn't to love, but it's very dominant from the pole. And she leads here to love. Let's see if Ben's added the button. Of course he has.
Iga SWIATEK. The bakery be opening when the Polish girl be rolling in. Each victim be serving them breadstick in a bagel and I'm Iga when I'm your child. I'm a feature, gonna beat ya. I'm Iga, gonna suit ya. Now you can't handle my heat now.
There we go. We've got Capricorn saying Rude lost to Shelton 6-3, 6-3. My favourite Ben Shelton, who also today, big day for him, he got a wild card into the US Open. So shout out to him. And based off today's performance, definitely deserved beating a top 10 player in Casper Ruud. It's a really big result for him. I wasn't expecting it at all. Don't think the bookies were either. So that is the big shock of the day. If Stevens was to beat Iga, that would be just as big a shock. I'm gonna go right out there. For me, that would be a massive if Stevens can beat Iga. She does have an opportunity to break back here. Love 30. The first serve is not bad, but she's looping the backhand and allowing Sloane Stevens inside the court. She's going big forehands now. Hits the baseline on that one. A backhand to the backhand corner again. It clips the net cord, and we are going to get 3 break points here. Opportunity for Stevens to get back on serve. And it's been a sloppy start to the match. It really has been. I did catch a little bit of the Raducanu one. Ben did a great job covering all of it. And I must admit, I'm blown away with how well Raducanu's playing right now. I mean, against Serena Williams, people were criticizing Serena's movement. 1 unforced error, Raducanu. Someone let me know how many unforced errors she made today. The way she's playing without making mistakes, you can't say she's not going to be a threat for the US Open. She won it last year. She could do something special. There shouldn't be too many expectations on her winning it, but she can go far for sure. And that one just clips the back edge of the line. Quite lucky there from Iga. Sloane's looking down at the line. Wasn't sure if she thought it was going to be heading out, but it did creep in. And Iga saves one of the break points. We may be joined as well later on by a very special guest. So stay tuned for him. I've already given it away a little bit. We know it's a guy. We've got Milan in saying, Iga, go for the win. How we doing, Snell? And it looks like Kyrgios going out. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have been that shocked if about 4 months ago I said Taylor Fritz was going to beat Kyrgios. Most people would probably suggest that. But Kyrgios has been on this ridiculous run of form, playing some of the best tennis right now. And I guess even Kyrgios can lose at times. Taylor Fritz is a quality player, really good. And I'm not that surprised he's losing. Or did he lose or lost? I can just check. I know he was heavily losing last time I checked. Yeah, 5-1 down currently in the second set. Lost the first set 6-3. So it looks like Kyrgios on his way out. Good run, though. I'm sure he can be proud of what he's been able to put together these past few weeks. Another break point here. We're into a long rally. And that one is long from Iga. Big celebration from Sloane Stevens. She knows how much that means to her. And we get the break back 2-1. And I don't think we've got a button yet. So if Ben is listening, please add the Sloane Stevens button. I would play it right now because she's been quite resilient since she got broken. She didn't buckle under the pressure. She's got her name on the board and we are back on serve. So let's hope we can get a competitive match. We've not seen many of them on Game to Love recently. We had the Raducanu-Azarenka one, which was one-sided. We also had another one-sided one in... I forgot the name now. In the other Raducanu match against Serena Williams. This one, let's hope we get more of a match. I mean, I'm hoping so, but I did say at the start, I think Iga's going to whitewash her. But Stevens showing a bit of resilience there to get back on serve. And I believe Ben is adding the Sloane Stevens button. So we will have that very soon. Just going around the courts. We do have some other players playing right now. As I said, Kyrgios looks like he's going out. We also have Tsitsipas doing quite well against Krajinovic. He's up a set and on serve in the second. Batista Agut just kicked off as well. That one's on serve. And on the women's, Rybakina up a set against Muguruza. And that's about it. Just this one we're watching right now. Iga versus Sloane Stevens. We've got Freya in saying, hey, JG, watching the stream from the balcony because it's such a warm night here. And just like that, let's introduce him. We have a special guest all the way from India. I'm glad you let yourself in. It is Sarfak. How are we doing?
Doing great, JG. Thank you for having me. I really look forward to this conversation with you. Great to be here.
Nice one. Have you got all the stream up and running?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to get a hang of it, but finally, yes.
Awesome. So for those who don't know, I'll let Sarfak explain a little bit about himself. But he is in the tennis world a little bit more than me and Ben because he's been doing some broadcast stuff for TV networks like Sony in India, covering the Roland Garros, hopefully doing some bits for the US Open. And you're going to see this man on your screens for a few years to come yet. He's doing a great job, and we're hopefully going to have him on the podcast, giving some of his expertise, tennis knowledge to you guys as well.
Well, that's very kind of you, JG. I really admire the work the two of you do. I love the content. I've been following it for, say, about a year and a half now, and I really like the work. And that's a very kind introduction of me. I'm just trying to learn with each day, and it's just the sport that I love so much, and I can talk about it all day.
Yeah, because I remember you were saying earlier off stream how you had aspirations to go pro. That didn't quite materialize, but you're finding another way to just to fulfill your passion, and that is being involved in tennis in some way. And I mean, me and Ben are pretty similar in terms. Well, the only big difference between me and Ben and you is we didn't have any chance at all. Like, we just wasn't very good. We tried. We never got to any kind of level. So we just did what the next best thing, and that's talking. We're quite good at talking. We love talking about tennis, so we just come on here.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same. I wasn't that good either. I mean, I just love playing, and I started playing at a very young age. And in India, it's always cricket, like I shared with you. We worship cricket, but somehow I wanted to do something other than cricket, and that was tennis, and I kept playing. But I think the unfulfilled dream of becoming a tennis player is channelized into talking tennis every day, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. I enjoy it.
Right, just to bring you up to speed with the match, Iga started in fast fashion like she always does, breaking the first service game of her opponent. Since then, though, she's been a bit sloppy, made some errors. Sloane Stevens has got back on serve, and now we find ourselves 30-all, Sloane Stevens serving, and Iga, she's threatening the break again, but she's going to have to pull a bit more consistent tennis out the bag because she's going long quite a bit. This is some better stuff from her, and what a shot down the line.
Brilliant.
Brilliant winner down the line, Iga. She's moving from side to side very well, and she generates the break point opportunity.
I mean, what a forehand down the line. Look at the speed on that shot, and the depth, and she loves her forehand, doesn't Iga? And I mean, particularly in this match, I want to understand from you, JG, because Sloane Stevens is coming in with a big win over Alizé Cornet. 6-1-6 love is a statement, and you know what Alizé Cornet did to Iga at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
I mean, that is where the streak ended. And I mean, that's not an easy opponent. Everyone who plays Alizé has this respect for her because of the year she spent on the tennis court. I mean, she's an amazing veteran of the sport, if I may say so. And I mean, this one, do you see this going the distance, JG?
No, not personally. I understand what you're saying about Sloane Stevens. Big result in the round prior. Just quickly, let me press the button because that was a break for Iga there. She is leading 3-1. But no, personally, my prediction is Iga in straight sets. I know you've making a good case for Sloane Stephens, but she hasn't been great this year. And despite that one match in the last one, I am very surprised by it, I must admit, because Elise Cornet is, I find, a very challenging opponent. She has the ability to break people's streaks. She did it to Serena Williams as well a long time ago. Did it to Iga at Wimbledon. And I asked her a question, actually, in the press room at Wimbledon. And she said to me, because I was asking about her upcoming retirement, she said her plans are to retire from the sport. I believe it was this year or at the start of next year. And she said she's still going ahead with that despite her really great success. So, it's going to be sad when she leaves. But I don't see Sloane Stephens troubling Iga too much. What about you?
Why I'm more concerned about Iga, not so much because of because of the streak ending at Wimbledon. It was 37 matches then. I'm more concerned with what I saw at Canada. I mean, Haddad Maya, the double faults in that third round, that was a concern for me. She maybe the self-doubt has crept in for Iga. I don't want to say this because she's had a phenomenal year. I mean, 3 matches aren't, gonna really worry her so much. But do you think the self-doubt creeps in?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to creep in a little bit. And for someone who we looked at as a bit indestructible to start of the year, it's nice to see that she's human. And I don't want to overdo it at all. There's people saying that maybe she's sort of on her way down now and she's struggling. Right now she's world number 1, the pressure which comes with it. And of course, there's going to be an element of that. But I still would look at her as the most consistent lady on the tour. I don't think anyone's going to catch her. And I think she's going to win plenty more things this year, including this match. But she is doing, like you said, she's making a few mistakes. And I'm not sure what's going on with her serving at the moment, but she's struggling with the ball toss. A few times she's thrown the ball up, had to regather it. It's not something we see from Iga too often.
Exactly. I mean, if Iga, that the signs with those 9 double faults, that is where I got a little worried for her, because you don't expect that from someone like Iga SWIATEK. I mean, we can be okay with Arina Sabalenka doing that because we've seen that for in too many occasions. And interestingly, JG, I saw Coco Gauff trying to give her a tough fight in the match against Sabalenka. I mean, I think Coco had 15 double faults, Sabalenka had 18, 19. So, I mean, I don't want Iga to do this because we expect a lot more from her. And I think before the US Open, she would want to, sort of get this Cincinnati title under her belt, give her that added confidence and, let everyone know on the tour that she's here to stay for a very long time.
Well, and a few more break points here. Forehand into the bottom of the net. A lot of unforced errors. And here we go. Backhand to the forehand of Sloane Stephens. She goes long. Oh, no, she doesn't. It hits the baseline. And then she finishes it off with a brilliant forehand. That's one thing with Iga. If you hit a ball inside the court and it's not deep enough, she puts it away. She has that sheer power. Doesn't matter if it's backhand side, forehand side. Any loose balls, she mops them up. And that's what she did there. I thought it was going long, that ball. I'm surprised it sort of landed in.
It looked long to me. Maybe the angle from which we're watching it, But you're right. I mean, if you give Iga a short ball, she is gonna just crush that forehand because she lives on that forehand. I mean, you can take chances maybe on the backhand with Iga. I mean, JG, do you think her backhand is as dangerous as her forehand?
It's not as dangerous, but still, in comparison to other players on tour, it is good enough. It's not something I would say target it. It's relatively strong. I know Berrettini is someone who on the men's tour, a lot of people, their strategy against him is to sort of pepper the backhand and keep the ball there. I don't think that is necessarily the same for Iga, but clearly her forehand is the biggest weapon she has, and it is just seems not fair really for a lot of other players. And she saved another break point here. She's giving them away, but she is saving them right now. And she finds a first serve. It's a good one. Not a bad backhand there to the backhand of Sloane Stephens. Playing down the middle of the court. Sloane Stephens goes long, and we're going to get advantage Iga. We've got Snell in the live chat. I just want to quickly read this out because it's about you. Saying, JG, I'm from India. I've seen Safak a lot on Sony covering tennis with players like Somdev Devarman.
Thank you, Snail. I'm glad you watched Somdev and me covering the French Open. And Somdev is India's pride, a former top 100 player in the world, and of course Padma Shri Somdev Devarman. He's played, just to let you know, JG, he's played Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, all of them as a
Wow.
singles player. Yeah, so we really, he's been one of the biggest achievers in men's singles tennis in India. So yeah, that is some finish from Swiatek. I mean, she finishes in style. I mean, JG, you want to take us through how good Iga's looking at the moment?
Yeah, she's she's finding some nice winners now. I think the early match nerves are sort of going a little bit. She's settling herself in. And guess what? The Iga Bakery could still be open.
Iga SWIATEK. The bakery be opening when the Polish girl be rolling in. Each victim be serving them breadstick in a bagel and I'm Iga when I'm your child. I'm the feature, gonna beat ya. I'm Iga, gonna suit ya. Now you can't handle my heat now.
There we go.
The
What's
poll
that's your
continues.
first GTL button, Sarfak.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the graphics you guys create for each player. I mean, they're so creative, and enjoy the singing by Ben. I'm looking forward to new releases on Ben, with Ben singing in them, and I just love it.
We've got Alex in saying, has Ben had a makeover? Yeah, we've upgraded for the night. We've kicked Ben to the couch and we brought Sarfak in. We've got Gary in saying, hey guys, nice to see you both. Just watched Fritz Kyrgios trying to dig up interest in the men's side. Didn't work. WTA rocks. And Gary is someone who loves the WTA right now. Kyrgios went out. For me, it wasn't a big shock. What about yourself?
I mean, I think I want to ask Gary, how good is Raducanu looking? She's getting used to these bagels against former world number ones. I mean, a bagel against Serena Williams, followed it up with a bagel against Azarenka. I think that'll make Gary all the more happy.
Yeah, it's insane, really. What Raducanu's done already in her young career, won the US Open. She's got a bagel to her name against Serena, one against Azarenka now. She's building quite a nice little portfolio, and I don't think she's done yet because she's still very young and she's got so much to still achieve. Back to this match, it is 4-1 or 1-4, Sloane Stevens serving.
Interestingly, JG, what a time for Raducanu to get back to peak form right before the US Open. And we've had critics, we've had, like you guys keep mentioning, the British media hasn't been the easiest on her through this year, at least, because she's not had the best of years, but she is coming back to form right before the US Open.
Yeah,
I mean, let's see how far she goes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And maybe it's not a coincidence, though, Sarfak. I feel this maybe is her favoured surface. She may really enjoy it in the US, and we've never really seen her there. But there can be a accumulation of many different factors on why she feels so comfortable there. But I'm all for it. If she's gonna always do well at the US Open every year, then we're gonna be in for a real treat in the UK.
Totally. And I see Swiatek. Okay, so it's 15 all in this sixth game here.
Yep.
Stevens trailing 1-4. I mean, Sloane Stevens, of course. I mean, 29. Has she? Could she have achieved a lot more, JG, with that 2017 US Open that she won, and she arrived on the scene as the American? I mean, Madison Keys doesn't have a Grand Slam. Coco Gauff doesn't have a Grand Slam. Stevens has one, but again, unused potential.
Potentially, but still, it's a tricky question. The reason I say that is because many great players go a whole career without ever winning a Grand Slam. Look on the men's, David Ferrer, like the name I always think of. And if he's someone who's never won a Grand Slam, and Sloane Stevens is someone who has, I know it's the men's and the women's and it's a bit different, but there's still been plenty of great women players who have never won a Grand Slam in their career. So even if she unrealized potential or not, she's won one, which a lot of players can say, which can never say they have done. So I'm never going to be critical of anyone who's won one. Of course, she could have done a little bit more and pushed on from it. but it's tough. It really is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, she has that slam, which in itself puts her in say half
Yeah.
or one
Like
percentage
we got
of
Ben in
the,
as well saying Jelena Jankovic never won a slam.
yes.
Exactly. Here we go. She
Sloane's looking
sliced it
to,
up there and it's gone long.
yeah,
Sloane Stephens holds. Big hold for her. Just to keep the
big
one
one.
break intact. Iga going to be serving here.
While we're at getting into the seventh game, JG, we had Murray bowing out. I mean, interestingly, I was listening to Mr. John Silk, our friend, and he was in the second set with some guests, and they were discussing how this could just end in the second set with Murray winning. And I switch over to some of the other matches, and all of a sudden I'm back, and I am like, Murray's about to lose in the third. How did that happen? That was yeah.
I didn't get to see the match, so I can't really comment too much. I was actually on the train, which was being delayed, so I didn't get to watch it. But
Oh, what an inside-out forehand! That was in, right, from Iga.
Yeah, it
Yep.
was in. Big one.
Oh, I mean, her forehand is something. I think even if you put some of the best men's players, it's gonna be tough.
She hits it as hard as them. There's not much. There's nothing in
Yes.
it in terms of the power. She is She is just an absolute asset to the women's tour.
Totally.
Like she's a really big fan favorite on Game to Love as well, Sarfak. If you didn't realize, when Iga's playing, we will always watch it. We'll always be there because you do find a bit like with Serena. Oh, look at that for a shot though from Sloane Stephens. Steps into it and takes some of that Iga. That is the same Iga power straight back at her.
How good was that down the line forehand? And look at the ovation from the crowd. And she's it's a home crowd. I mean, it's the United States of America. Obviously, she'll want to put on a fight here. She won't just let this go.
Yeah, as I was saying, we always will try to watch Iga when we can because we think she's that good and she deserves all of the attention and limelight possible because world number one and fully deservedly as well.
Totally.
Here we go. 15-all. It's a good serve. Oh, and that is a really sloppy backhand. There we go. You're going to like that one. That's something you can.
Yeah, yeah.
You did say that.
I just feel if Sloane can go to her backhand more, go to Iga's backhand, she has a better chance here because that forehand is looking unstoppable. I think Sloane needs to keep attacking Iga's backhand and get her to be a little frustrated with more such unforced errors. Force her to make those errors rather.
Oh, she is trying to go to the backhand, but that one she dragged wide 30-all. At the start of the match, I went Iga straight sets. Did you think it could go to 3?
I just feel because of the win she had against Alizé Cornet, and because she likes the hard court swing, she's won the US Open. She likes this part of the year. I think Sloane could trouble Iga, but even I would obviously I see Iga winning this at max 3. I mean, it could go to a 3.
Okay.
It could.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And right on cue, another backhand error, this time into the net. We've got break point for Sloane Stephens to get back on serve. And I think Ben's added the button as well. So we could be getting a Sloane Stephens button press very soon.
And then we have Iga. I mean, this is
into
big.
the net.
This is big. Second serve. And
time. Second serve.
We've spoken about the double faults from Canada.
Hopefully she's left them in Toronto. Oh, it's not a double fault. She goes to the backhand side. She gets it back in play. Goes back there again. Oh, she mixes it up. This time it hits the net cord. Very unlucky from Sloane Stephens. And it allows Iga just to hit one of them big, powerful forehands. I feel a little bit sorry for her there. The tennis gods wasn't helping her out. And the break point's been saved.
I think the smile on Sloane Stephens' face says it all. I mean, she went to the backhand twice. And once she went to the forehand, it hits the net cord. I mean, luck is a big factor too in this game.
Oh, for sure. Really is. Here we go, Ben there in the chat saying Sloane Stevens button, the worst vocal of all buttons. Well, let's see if we get to judge that or not. We'll let Sarfak be the judge.
Well, I think Iga is sort of showing signs of nerves in those serves. They're not looking as
That's
clean
out.
as they were. Yeah, another break point. I mean, nerves. Iga's feeling them.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same Iga we saw a few months ago. But it's nothing to be too alarmed about. She's up a break against Sloane Stevens here. If she can get through this little bit, then this first set's more or less wrapped up. Big moments. Break point number 2 anyway. Let's see if she gets this first serve in. She doesn't again. And looking at the stats on the screen, you can see first serve points won 53%, second serve points won 50%. So she's not doing anything really behind her serve at the moment. And first serves only finding 56% overall. So she's missing a lot of serves. And there we go. It is the double fault. Right on cue. And we are back on serve. 3-4. Iga broken. Let's find the button.
You know,
judging pure...
It's Sloane. It's Stevens.
Well, I enjoyed it. I always, I find creativity and some fun in each of them, and I enjoyed it. Well, Sloane Stevens, I mean, if you just look at the body language, JG, she looks far more relaxed. I mean, if you see Iga, I don't know, maybe this is how Iga is, but I'm not finding the same level of ease I saw when she was at the French Open. I don't know. There are signs of discomfort in the serve, of course, in the body language too. She looks a little tighter.
Yeah, Capricorns and Iga's bakery has been out of business for quite some time. She's losing customers fast because the first serve's not popping. The backhand's looking a bit suspect. As much as I've been bigging her up and trying to defend her here, I find it hard because I can see everything you're saying is sort of coming to fruition here. We've got a question in the live chat from you from Ilest saying, Southak, where are you watching this match in India?
Ilest, a brilliant question. I am watching it on Discord with Ben and JG. The thing is, you'll have to get to WTA's subscription because we don't have it on Woot in India. We just have the ATP men's matches being aired live in India, sadly. So you'll have to go to the WTA TV subscription.
Yeah, WTA subscription is the best place to watch this match and the only place for most people in the world. We've got Ben there reminding us, still 55 likes to go. Come on, everyone, 200 watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button. It really does help the channel to grow. And of course, if you are new, subscribe. Our target is 50k subscribers, and hopefully we can get there one day. We've got Sloane Stevens serving here. She's lost the first point, and it's going to be a second serve on the second point of this service game. It's a good shot from Iga, and she's got Sloane Stevens on the back foot. Drags it wide, though. Too powerful.
You know, one aspect about Iga's game that I love in particular is how she steps in to return those serves. The aggression, the hop. So I was listening to Kyrgios just before this match, and he was speaking of how he's worked on his returns. I mean, we speak of the Kyrgios serve, but he's worked on improving his returns. And if you see Iga, how physical she gets to in those returns, she wants to, charge in. She doesn't, stand behind. And that is something unique to Iga. I mean, Serena used to do that a lot. And I love that aggression, that intensity. Great to watch.
On the women's tour, do you have a particular favorite player?
I love currently, obviously, I've loved this streak, the when I was covering the French Open. I mean, every day we would just be in awe of what Iga's doing. The 35.
Yeah,
Oh,
brilliant
I mean,
tennis. Sorry there, but that was
good.
insane. On the return, she levered one. I don't know of the kilometers an hour, but I'd love to know. Look at that for technique. Rafa-esque. We've got Rafa on the down coming up soon as well.
Very Rafa-esque. And
Yeah.
look at how much topspin she gives on that
Yeah.
drop shot to have that land inside. That just looks easy for all the viewers. That is possibly one of the toughest shots to hit in tennis, because it can easily go out, and Iga does it to perfection.
Yeah, sorry, I'll cut you off. Your best player, your favorite player.
I mean, I love what Iga's doing, but my all-time women's favorite player has to be Serena Williams. I've just admired what she did for the game. I mean, what she did for so many young girls, so many young African American girls. I mean, the whole difference. I mean, the attitude she had. I mean, it's sad that as I speak, we possibly are going to just have maybe 1 or 2 matches left of Serena Williams.
No.
I mean, that could be a possibility. I don't want that. I would love to see her run deep into the US Open, but you never know.
And another brilliant return of serve there from Iga. This time the backhand firing. Sloane Stephens can't handle the power and just sort of, well, she can only defend one into the net. Not good enough. And this is something what happens often. I don't know if you notice it. Iga doing her shoelaces during play.
You know what that could be. I mean, I just saw there was someone speaking of what breaks can do. We'll get back to that. Okay, we'll first just Sloane serving here, and I'll then narrate the incident.
Worries. Let's look at the service game. And what a shot from Sloane Stephens.
Sloane Stephens
she won't get it. She flicked one down the line. Sloane Stephens.
She's doing what SWIATEK, we're used to seeing SWIATEK doing all of this, Sloane is giving it to her.
It's helping her. Like, having Iga there is motivating her to pull out some of her best shots, because we know she's capable of doing it. It's just like a little added motivation having Iga there.
Wow.
That holds as well. I think we're going to have to give her the button, and then I'll let you speak about the shoelace. But currently, we're going to the business end. 4-all. Iga may be in trouble.
It's Sloane. It's Stephens.
So, when you spoke of the shoelaces bit, just the match before this, Shapovalov and Tommy Paul, there was an incident where someone fainted in the stands, and they had to, have a gap. They had to pause proceedings, and suddenly after that, we saw a momentum shift. Shapo took up like 4 or 5 games consecutively, and the commentator was mentioning how a toilet break, whether it's the Tsitsipas famous toilet break, shifts the psyche of the two players. So I don't know. These are mini tactics. Possibly it's not so much the shoelace. It might just be a way of zoning in, getting back to sort of, or maybe disrupt your opponent's flow, break the momentum. You never know.
And what's your view on that? Do you find it's a bit of gamesmanship there from Iga? Because she's done this a few times, and one of them is where sort of hindrance, where the opponent's about to hit the ball and she's moving. People have been a bit funny about that. I've not had any problem with it. And the other one is this shoelace. She's done it a few times in the middle of matches, and some people have called it out and said it's a bit of gamesmanship. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't want to just say it's I mean, she's one of the nicest people on tour. You know that. Yeah. I mean, she's someone who's.
But would you say that there's a different Iga? There's an on-court persona and an off-court. I mean, I forget the name now. Who's the American who got to the final of the Australian Open this year?
American who got one minute. How am I forgetting this?
It's going to come up. Someone will say it in the live chat any second, but she's very similar in terms of she looks very angry on the court. But then in the press room, one of the nicest people ever.
We're
Danielle
at
Collins.
4-all. Daniel Collins, Snehal. Yes. I mean, so I don't know. I don't think Iga can be, in my view, compared to Daniel Collins. I think Iga's way too sweet. And I mean, just that, yeah, I mean, it's just about shoelaces.
What I'm saying is there's a different persona.
Yeah.
There's the on-court persona as a competitor, as whatever. They'll do whatever it takes to win. And then someone off the court who's just very nice, humble, gets on with everyone.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with. I mean, she has these extremes, no doubt about it. I mean, we've seen how when she saw Lewandowski in the stands, and she goes like, you can't even tell. She becomes this fangirl, and when she's on court, she just steamrolls over her opponents. So yeah, she's got this extremes. She's like, if you just speak of Ash Barty, she's a darling off the court, and even on court, I don't think I've ever seen Ash Barty do something like the incidents you just mentioned. She would never do all of that. She's a darling on and off the court, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, just that her opponents wouldn't agree.
And that's a massive hold there for Iga. She was in a little bit of pressure because she double faulted again. She's had 3 double faults for the match. The serve's still not clicking, but she held just about, and that's all what matters because she did get to the magic number 5 first. Leads here 5-4 on Sloane Stephens on serve, but if she can break here, she takes the first set.
I think, I mean, JG, again, you think, do you see Cincy as a mini US Open? Do you feel this really gives you the edge? Do you see it that way?
Personally, I do. I think it's been a good indication over the years. I remember a few years ago, we got, was it Osaka? Got all the way to the final against maybe Azarenka, and then I think Osaka pulled out of the final. She never played it. Then she went on to win the US Open. So I mean, we have seen that over the years that it is the conditions I think are very similar, and it is a good indication to see how a player is going to perform. A bit like I guess Eastbourne last year when Berrettini he won that Queens. I forget which one it was. He won it easily, went into Wimbledon, got all the way to the final against Djokovic. These events just before a slam is a good indicator. The only one I don't think it is with Roland Garros. I feel Roland Garros slightly different. I'm not sure if Rome's always the best indicator, but it's difficult because usually Djokovic or Nadal wins it, and they always do quite well. So maybe it is. But I feel like that's just them. They could play on grass. Listen, I feel if Nadal played on grass before Roland Garros, he'd probably still do very well at Roland Garros. There's levels to this game.
But you spoke of a name, Naomi Osaka. I want to understand the curious case of Naomi Osaka. This woman lost to the 33-year-old Shuai Zhong in round 1. She's won the US Open in 2020. What is happening to Naomi Osaka, JG? I mean, we'll discuss this. Let's have a look at the point here.
Yeah,
Sloane is looking good here.
Ooh.
Sloane is not. I mean, she's going after it. She's playing fearlessly. She's not overthinking the shots, which is great to see. Look at the. I mean, looking at Sloane, it's giving me Iga vibes. I mean, this is what Iga does to her opponents. I mean, side to side, making the opponents run. Sloane isn't playing with fear here. I mean, she's just going for every shot pretty much.
Yeah, she's playing very well. I kind of underestimated her coming into this one. I've got to put my hands up. But in a way, I'm very happy because I wanted to see a spectacle. The last few matches we've covered on Game to Love have all been one-sided. So nice to see one go in the distance. That one, I think it hit the net cord again, didn't it? Let's have a look at that. I was just looking the other way. Yeah, it did it again. I mean, Iga's had this same fortune 3 times now. She's really getting helped out. And that puts her 3 points away from this opening set. Let's see if she can clinch it here. The first serve's in. Forehand from Iga. Back to that forehand again. Sloane Stephens goes wild. Drags one wide. 45 minutes on the clock. And it is 15:30. Iga 2 points away from this opening set. It is a very hotly contested match. I don't know which way it's going to go. Both players find a lot of winners. Is Iga going to do what champions do and steal it right at the end?
You know, even though that forehand went wide from Sloane, I was happy that she's still going towards that backhand side. I mean, not to the forehand. I don't want her to go to the forehand. See, it's cost her another point here.
Not
she
a
went
good
to
volley.
The forehand.
She came in, tried to volley it, volleys into the net, and we have 2 set points, Iga. Sort of unraveling here for Cleveland's at the end. I don't know if she's getting out of this one, Safak.
I mean, she needs to take it on the first one itself. I mean, Sloane's looking good. She might just save both, but Iga needs to take it right away.
She's gone deep again.
Wow.
What a rally this one is. Iga, she's gone down the line. Sloane Stephens has got it back. What a point this one is. She's crept one over the net again. And the rally's still going on. Iga moving her from side to side. Surely she's done. Yes, she's done. And Iga takes the set 6-4. Breaking right at the end. 47 minutes. Really good set. What a rally to end it.
Phenomenal rally.
Iga SWIATEK. The bakery be opening when the Polish girl be rolling in. Each victim be serving them breadstick in a bagel and I'm Iga when I'm your child. I'm a feature, gonna beat ya. I'm Iga, gonna suit ya. Now you can't handle my heat now.
There we go. How did you rate that first set?
I mean, I just think the last point is the last rally was something in itself. I mean, it could possibly sum up the entire set. I mean, it was so good to see both of them going after it. I was impressed that Sloane was taking her chances, going to Iga's backhand. But if she could have just been a little more solid with that final game. I mean, and Sloane could have kept it a little more consistent. Maybe you could have gone into a tiebreaker in this first one. It was looking really good from both of them, but obviously Iga rising towards the end and doing what Iga does best. I mean, and takes the first set. I mean, you can see her taking those deep breaths. And I want to, as we are at this juncture between the first and the second set, discuss the curious case of Naomi Osaka with you, JG. I mean, like I said, I think she's lost 6 of her last 8 matches, and this is someone who's had 4 Grand Slam titles under her belt. She's the 2020 US Open champion. I mean, it's hard to believe she beat Serena Williams in the final at the US Open. What is happening to her? If you could just describe to all of us, what do you understand of it?
It's a difficult one because the only person who truly knows is Naomi Osaka. We can all speculate exactly what's going on. We know her ceiling is higher than most players. And in this time of the year, coming up to the US Open, there's not many players I favour more than her. I mean, and Andreescu is another one who I love at this time of the year playing on in these courts. But Osaka simply is not at the races. And you could maybe put a lot of it to do with her desire maybe. And mentally, is she in the best place to be competing? We know she had a bit of a hiatus and a break from tennis. We don't know. We've got Capricorn in saying Naomi, Andreescu, Muguruza are not much interested in tennis anymore. Well, that's, of course, speculation, but there's definitely lots of opinions going around. But yeah, I don't actually know about the curious case of Osaka. Maybe she could be doing all of this and go on and win the US Open. I think we've seen crazier things than that happening. So you never know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that we've seen her play at such high levels that obviously as fans, the expectations grow. I mean, when you see Emma doing so well again at the end of the year, I mean, not exactly the end of the year, but towards the final slam as we enter towards New York, you just feel so much better because you expect Emma to do that well. And when as fans, that's the players themselves have raised these expectations, haven't they? Someone like Naomi has created that bar for herself.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
she's deservedly as well because she has been simply that good. And just sort of taking you back to a question you said a second ago, where you was talking about Cincinnati as preparation for the US Open, and I outlined Osaka and how she got to the final, then went on to win the US Open. We've got quite a few in the live chat. I don't know if you have access to this, but on the comment section, feel free to bring any up if you want to. But here we go. So we've got Ben here, 2016 Kerber, US Open champion, and also Cincinnati runner-up. We had Clijsters winning Cincinnati and the US Open in 2010. 2014, Serena Williams wins Cincinnati and the US Open. So historically, there has been many incidents where players have done well at Cincinnati and then followed on with good US Open success.
Yep, and I mean that's something I just we've got. Yeah, I mean. Rybakina, the win over Muguruza today at JG. I mean, was that something you saw? You could see that happen?
Yes, yeah, 100%. We did it in our bracket. So before all these events, we do draw previews, going through every single round. I had a Muguruza going out early. I don't think her mind's in tennis at the moment, and she's not someone you can really rely on for consistency. I loved her last year. I had her going all the way in this year. My predictions were her being, I think it was ending the year within the top 3, but nowhere near it at the moment. We know how good she can be, but just not that good at the moment. And we've got Ben there reminding everyone, if you haven't already, make sure like the video. We've got 47 likes away from 100, and we can get the button out. It really does help us on Game to Love. Iga there with a game to love in the first game of the second set, and love 15 here.
I think Iga's taken it a notch up in the second set. If you see how she's just attacking all the more in this set, and she doesn't want to take it to a third. She wants to get things done, get over with this at the earliest, because she has the set and the momentum. Obviously, I mean, with that last point, I think Iga can possibly even win 6-1, 6-0 in this one if she just continues that same kind of. I mean, that's how good she looked, unless Sloane comes up with some seriously good tennis here.
Well, the last 10 points, Iga, 9 of them, Sloane Stephens 1. So that's showing the dominance towards the end of the set and how good she's been when the business end came around.
So I read one of the.
It's a shank off Sloane Stephens. There we go. We've got a little lamb shank for you there, Sarfak, for a bad shot.
You know, I love all of these. It's so entertaining. But I mean, I read one of the comments here from Son of Robin Records, the classic Iga shoelace trick. So it's been around for a while. I mean, JG, it's been around.
yeah, it's been around. It's a known thing. Oh,
DJ
double
606. DJ says the French Open was such an amazing slam this year. Totally was. I mean, for many reasons, especially the 14th for Rafa and the 35 match winning streak for Iga SWIATEK. Breakpoint.
Oh, that one's saved. She went too big on it on the return. One breakpoint saved. Let's go to some of the other matches and see how the other players are getting on. We've got Madison Keys, Ostapenko kicking off any moment. That should be a really good match. And on the men's, Tsitsipas comfortably beat Krajinovic in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4. And we've got Batista Agut up a set. He won the first set 6-3 and also up a break against Marcos Giron in the second set. That one just clipping the baseline from Iga, but she misses the forehand into the net and another breakpoint save. We've got DJ in saying me versus you tonight and tomorrow, JG. Who are you talking about? This is, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, no, I know Davor's a big, for those who don't, so I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he's a big Croatian fan, big Cilic fan. So potentially when he says me,
Ah.
can Nadal play Cilic? I'm not sure. That's the only thing I'm thinking of. I've not looked into it as much as you, Davor, but Coric. There we go. So that would make sense. Of course, Coric is playing Nadal. That makes total sense. And I believe, a bit of knowledge for you, they have a head-to-head record of 2-2. So Coric and Nadal tied. It's going to be settled later on.
And interestingly, speaking of head-to-head, Iga and Sloane Stephens haven't ever met on the tour before. They don't. There's no head-to-head. It's 0-0, and that's also an element of surprise. You don't know what to expect from the other person here. You've never played. So I mean that could also help Sloane Stephens because she can just go for it all the more.
Oh, there's another one as well. Cilic Alcaraz. Is Alcaraz one of mine as well? Do I just love Spanish players? Is that what my problem is? I think the Spaniards, they've got a special place in my heart, Sarthak, if you didn't know.
That's something. And I mean you should have been all the more happy with Pablo Carreño Busta winning last week. I mean that was something. And a lot of people were wondering how did this guy emerge and from where did he come all of a sudden? And I mean, then I was trying to understand. Maybe he preps all the more towards the US Open. He gets into a different mentality. But then he loses in the first round here at Cincinnati. So I'm like, okay. So
he's going to go deep. He's going to go deep at the US Open. He loves it. He's had 2 semi-final appearances there. But out of all the Spanish players, he's someone I've not warmed to as much as the others. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But those in the live chat, they do know. Me and Busta, we have a bit of an up and down relationship. I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that he buckles against some big players like a Tsitsipas. I see him. I just find him a very frustrating player, Busta. And he's not someone I've warmed to so much on here. But all the other Spanish players, I'm all for.
I was watching Davidovich Fokina play, and I was just thinking. I mean, speaking of Spaniards, I mean, I just think he resembles David Nalbandian so much. Not only the looks, but even the game, JJ. And it's just that I mean, he's young. I think he's 23, I believe, and he's just got to get those results like maybe an Nalbandian because it's just like a replica of Nalbandian in so many ways.
Wow. Look at that for a shot down the line from Sloane Stephens. A clean winner. 30-all. The difference is, though, I don't think Nalbandian fell over so much. For Kino, he's on the floor more than he's on his feet.
Good one. Yeah. He'll have to. But yeah, I mean, in terms of movement, one of the fastest on the court.
He is fast.
Fokina, he is really good with that lateral movement and brilliant court coverage.
Yeah, a few people laughing there about PCB being my favourite. They know I'm not the biggest Busta fan, but I'm trying. It's hard not to be this time of year anyway, because he is very good. Iga under some pressure here. What's she going to do? She gets the serve in. I think that might have been a second serve, but she forces the forehand wide, and we have break points Sloane Stephens. And we saw all of that array of points from Iga at the back end of the first set. She started the second set strong. You come out and said she's playing a lot better. What's gone wrong? Because she's sort of fallen off the last 5 minutes.
I mean, that's what it is. You can't let your guard down for a single moment, and you could have the whole match turn around. I mean, this is a crucial point here. I mean, this is if Sloane can. I mean, that's a brilliant serve down the tee, and Iga finishes that perfect 1-2 punch. I mean, cannot get any more meticulous. So good from Iga.
Yeah, it really is.
I just read in the comments, Halep withdrew, and interestingly, we have had Coco Gauff withdraw. We've had Halep withdraw. Is this a concern, or are they doing it consciously because they don't want to risk themselves for the US Open?
It's not a concern for me. I think it's just them preserving their body for the US Open. I mean, Halep, she just had a tournament success in the last one, so I think it's pretty understandable. And I wouldn't be too worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah. MQR says, too bad. I like Halep a lot. And what a win she had against Hadar Maya. I mean, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And, Hadar, just to let all of viewers know, Hadar Maya beat Iga SWIATEK
Yeah.
at Canada in the third round. So that was not an easy opponent to have in the final. But yeah, Simona Halep, I mean, uh, I'll come to you after this point,
Oh
JJ.
my
Brilliant.
word!
Oh,
Point of the match so
on
far on the run. That's straight out of the book of Yannick Sinner. Forehand on the run down the line. Brilliant shot.
exactly what I wanted to say. I mean, that is so Yannick Sinner like on the run down the line. How does she do it so well? That could be the point of the match. I mean, that's so
Yeah.
good from Sloane Stevens.
She deserves to break for that alone. Let's see if she can do it. Break point number 2. It is going to be a second serve to look at, and that is really good signs for her because Iga's only won 38% of her second serves, 6 out of 16.
Sloane needs to go to Iga's backhand here. She needs to charge in and go to the backhand. And she does.
She does.
And
it
she does.
works.
And
Just
she
like
does.
that. We saw the shot of the match in the one before. Sarfat calls for the shot to the backhand. She does exactly that. And Sloane Stevens gets the break and leads 2-1 in the second set.
It's Sloane, it's Sloane, it's Sloane, it's Stevens.
And let's find that break button because she is up a break.
We might be looking at 3 sets here, JG. It's good news for all the Sloane Stevens fans. And I mean, while we're at it, I want to remind all of viewers we have an epic next gen match coming up tomorrow. Felix will be taking on Yannick Sinner. I mean, that is mouth-watering to have in a third round. I mean, these two for me are the future, are also the present in so many ways. And I mean, Felix obviously hasn't. I mean, when you saw him at Montreal, I really expected a lot more out of him. I don't know what went wrong in the match against Casper Ruud. He just sort of looked. I didn't see the same Felix I saw in the first few matches. I mean,
No.
or maybe I would also credit Ruud for what he did, but I mean, with Sinner and Felix, I mean, these two have exquisite games, JJ. The fluidity, the grace. These are such good tennis players, and most importantly, the temperament.
Yeah.
At such a young age, the temperament, the level-headedness. I would say the same. I mean, in terms of fluidity, I don't say the same for Alcaraz's game. I mean, he's got this rawness. But just purely in terms of the aesthetics that I see on the court, I just love what Felix and Senna bring to the table.
Yeah, I think you can make a case for Alcaraz as well in terms of the future, but it's a bit of a difference. I know it's a bit more, I know what you mean, a bit rough around the edges. But
Future, certainly. Alcaraz is here to stay, and I see him winning multiple Grand Slams without a doubt. But I don't know in terms of the game, the grace that I see from a Sinner. Maybe you can just say like the grace we saw in Federer, we don't see it in Nadal, but both greats of the game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it depends what you're into. For me, I'll understand the grace side of things, but I'm more of I like the people who roll up their sleeves, the grit, the determination, the Rafael Nadal style character. And I think Alcaraz, he molds more into that than say what a Sinner would. Sinner, though, had a really good Wimbledon, and some people said he sort of bottled the match against Djokovic where it was 2 sets up. I didn't see it like that at all. I just thought Djokovic hit another mode, very difficult for him to then stay with him. And Sinner, all he did really that whole event was just show how good he can be. And there's no criticism on his part whatsoever for losing that match from my perspective. But yeah, no, I agree. Really good match. Felix Sinner, they're going to be rivals for many years to come. And these two, hopefully they get to meet a few more times. But the only way that's going to happen is if Sloane Stevens brings her consistency up. We know Iga's going to be at the top of the game. I'm not sure if Sloane Stevens is going to be there in the next few years. And that's a double fault
again,
from 15-30.
Sloane is 29, Iga's 21, plays a factor. And I have a question here. I mean, not
We've
really
got
a
Gary. I'll
question.
let you read
Gary,
this one out.
yeah, I mean, so much unrealized potential in Sloane Stevens. I completely agree. In fact, we were discussing this right at the start, with JG. I mean, with that US Open in, I believe it was 2017, I mean, you expect so much out of someone like Sloane Stevens. And I completely agree. What Gary says, a girl with all the tools to be great. But I mean, she's doing some good stuff today here, Gary. I mean, if she can produce some magic in the second set, you might well have Sloane be back and be back to the levels we know of Sloane Stevens.
Currently,
I'll
she might
just
be back on serve here, though, because it is 30-40.
and Sean Power says Alcaraz is pure heart, Sinner is ice cold. Well, I mean, yeah, you could say that. I mean, for me, there is that Nadal Federer like rivalry in them. I see them here to stay. Alcaraz and Sinner both very, very. I mean, they've got this classiness in them. You don't see that so much in 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. I mean, they've got this maturity on court. The way they carry themselves, especially when I saw the final at the Croatia Open, I could get a sense that these two are here to stay. I mean, they themselves know that. They don't see this as a one-time final we are in, and they know they're here for the long run. And these two will be making a lot of finals, in my understanding.
And I think they're a perfect example as well for the new generations coming coming through. They're like really respectful of each other, and it was refreshing to see them both play at Wimbledon after Kyrgios Tsitsipas, because that was the complete opposite, that one. And the young next gen showed up the other next gen, which aren't really next gen anymore. But quickly back to this one, Iga did break back, and we are back on serve 2-2. Another question from you from Snell saying, can Summit Nagal play the qualifiers for the US Open?
A brilliant question from you, Snail. I mean, Sumit Nagal has pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I'll just share with you, JG. He took a set off Roger Federer. I mean, he played. He's from India, Sumit Nagal's.
Yeah, me
So
and Ben
I
are
mean,
very
Snail.
familiar with him on the Challenger circuit. We actually call him the Indian the Dow. That's his nickname.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just the G and the D, but his pronunciation's a little different, Nagal. But I mean, you guys can call him Nagal just to resemble Nadal. And just to answer your question, Snehal, he has a protected ranking, which he can implement to get to the qualifiers. So we should see him play the qualifiers and hope he can get to the main draw. As every Indian, that's the biggest hope we can have from him.
Yeah, from my perspective, tell me if I'm wrong, because obviously you know a lot more about him. Me and Ben have watched him quite a few times in the Challengers. We find him a very exciting player. He's had some good performances, but not so much of late. But he's very good on the clay courts. Is that his best surface?
Yeah, he does enjoy playing on the clay courts, but I won't say he cannot perform on the other surfaces. He's got a phenomenal mentor in Somdev Devarman, who in many ways was. I mean, if you saw him play, if you just go watch his match with Rafa Nadal, you will see him return every ball back like Rafa had to really fight for every point. I mean, to get those points. So Somdev is mentoring someone like Sumit. So that is, I mean, that's one of the best mentors you can have. And in addition to that, he has been backed by Virat Kohli, who's a legend of Indian cricket. So he's got the right people around him, and if he can keep at it and keep pressing, he should be making the main draws more often.
Well, fingers crossed. Let's see how he gets on. And it's nice to see that he's definitely going to be getting in the qualifying anyway with his protected ranking.
Yes.
We do have a break point here, another one. I mean, I feel like there's been a lot. I don't think I've ever seen Iga give away so many breakpoint opportunities in a match.
exactly what we were discussing. I think Iga's serve is troubling her. It started in the
It's not
third
as
round
good,
at
is it?
Canada in particular. Yes, I mean it wasn't as we've not seen this during the French Open. We didn't see this. I mean that's a forehand. I mean I don't think
She
some of
gets
the
away
best.
with it. That's the thing. She can disguise a bad.
Yeah,
Listen, if I was out there and my serve wasn't popping, I'd get absolutely ripped to shreds. With Iga, she can get away with it because she just got a shot like that, and other players don't have
yeah.
that.
Sloane cannot hit to Iga's forehand today. I mean, if Sloane wants to win this, she can't go to the forehand. It's working wonders for her. I mean, it's always been a weapon, but it's looking so dangerous today. And in no time, had she has advantage on her serve, and she gets this. She goes 3-2 up. Sloane under pressure. I mean, this point I mean, Sloane. If Sloane wants to win this, she has to break Iga. She has to press in. She has to go to that backhand, like she has been trying, and she needs to get into Iga's head.
Oh, look at that for a shot. She comes in, drive volley, too good. Iga holds 3-2. And I want to say big thanks to all 167 people who have joined us tonight. If you haven't already, please hit the like button on the video. We're currently only at 64. Come on, let's try and get up to 100 likes. Do it for Sarfak on his first ever GTL stream. And if not, if you don't like either me or Sarfak, do it for the great tennis because we've seen some really good winners from both players. Iga's up a set. Sloane Stephens is fighting back. It's still in the balance. We're still on serve. And listen, we want you here for it. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And of course, join us later on because after this match, we're going to have me and Ben covering Rafael Nadal. And it's been a long time since we saw him on our screens again. And I, for one, can't wait.
Absolutely. I mean, I think even if you're not a Rafa fan and you admire, say a Djokovic, from the Djoko fan club or from the Federer fan club, you will still want to have a look at how Rafa's looking, how Rafa's feeling, how's that ab looking, how is he doing. That's just purely for the love of the game, love of tennis, and everyone across the world would want to know: is Rafa in good shape, in good form? I mean, how is he looking? And that's the beauty of tennis. I want to address the comments here. The Ostapenko outfit is being talked about a lot. I mean, MQR says her outfits look like she made them herself in kindergarten. I mean, wow. That is
Have you seen the outfit in question?
I haven't. I mean, I'm very curious to see it now. I mean,
listen, Ostapenko historically hasn't had the best outfits. There's a lot of frills, a lot of funny colors, but this one, it's like a leopard skin. It's a bit strange. I mean,
wow.
yeah, it's definitely
I mean,
strange.
I want to have a look.
Did someone say Ostapenko's outfit? Oh, I'm not having this.
How are we doing, Ben? Welcome to the stream.
I'm good, man. I can't. I heard it. I heard the rumblings of Ostapenko's outfit, and I had to enter the fray because we were talking about it last night at the end of the match that we finished. What was it? The Serena Raducanu one, and then it flicked straight over to the Ostapenko match, and I think she's got it in numerous colors as well. It's in pink, it's in turquoise, but the main thing that stays the same is the leopard print collar and skirt. Don't like it. Looks terrible. If she designed it herself, then I don't think she's going to win any, fashion shows, or she's not going to get her own brand anytime soon, surely.
Well, thankfully, her tennis does enough talking because it is a really exciting brand of tennis. You never really know what you're going to get, whether it's going to be a winner or unforced error. And hopefully she can get on quite well today. But as Ben is just joining us, I'm going to head off in a second. But just to quickly give him a recap of the match so far, it has been a really good one. And we've seen some good quality from both players. Sloane Stephens, I feel, has raised her level, knowing she's playing Iga. We're seeing more winners from her racket. And as Sarfek said at the beginning, her victory against Elise Cornet in the last round, I think it's given her added confidence as well, because I have not seen her play this well for some time, but she still finds herself down a set and almost a break here. But that is a great shot. Oh, my word.
Oh!
That's a big one.
That is something.
What a shot.
That is some tennis. I mean, when you watch Iga hit those forehands, you just feel, I mean, some of the best men's players also would applaud, would not find that a shot that they would be able to return. I mean, that is up there. That is one of the best shots you can see on the tour.
Yeah, no one's getting that one back, are they? And then that's the type of shot. I feel that Iga is such a confidence player. When she gets one of those, it sort of ups the rest of her game. Look, she sees that she's running around now like a headless chicken.
Oh,
I
that's
feel
a
that
great
she
defense, though, from Sloane Stephens. Oh, my word. And she's sort of
Powerful.
reset the rally here.
Great
Sloane
backhand.
Stephens had no right to stay in this rally, but she has. And she's done it on the run again. What a rally this is. Oh, my word. Inside out. Sloane Stephens.
Oh,
Razor break point. It's Sloane time.
Break.
It's Sloane, it's Sloane, it's Sloane, it's Stephens.
Wow.
One more break point. What a shot that was. Gary there saying, as always with GTL, this is great change of pace and a fantastic podcast. Kudos to you guys. Well, thank you, Gary, for tuning in again. GTL fan legend.
Cheers, buddy. Right. I mean, anything Iga can do, Sloane can do better. I think she's feeling right now. Iga's trying her best, and she's trying, and she's got in the head of Iga now by the looks of it. Iga was trying her best to fire winners, and she's firing them, I feel, to the wrong side. That would normally be the side you attack, is the backhand side. Sloane's backhand looks incredible, and then she followed it up with a massive forehand. I'm amazed by Sloane today, I have to say.
I think, Ben, had Sloane not saved these 2 break points, 4-2 would have been an impossible position to come back from. And now it's crucial that Sloane gets the hold here. I mean, Sloane's giving Iga the fight of her life. I mean, this point is crucial.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the one thing with Iga that we normally see a close first set, batter them in the second set. But credit to Sloane, she hasn't gone away. She's continued with that great mentality. Maybe it's just being in the US. Oh, JG's left, and he's left with the scoreboard. Not only does he leave, he takes the score with him. Don't worry, I will get that up. Bear with me 1 second, mate.
Swiatek has break point number 3 here.
No worries. Yes, but it is break point number 3. And there you go. It is the break as well from Iga Swiatek. Well played. Iga Swiatek. Just when we're singing Sloane's praises, that's what can happen, though. And I think one thing that Iga has that a lot of other players don't have is on a day like today when she's not really looking her best. She's still looking good. I wouldn't say it's her best, but she still can grind people out. Like you saw at the beginning of that first set, she wasn't looking great, but somehow right at the end of the set, she finds a way just to hit, connects with a few big shots. And that's all she wrote. And then you end up winning the set.
Totally, and that's the thing about champions, isn't it? I mean, they have this ability to do things even when they're not in the best of, let's say, the form is not at its absolute best, but they somehow grind through. They somehow get those wins time and again. There's this aura of invincibility that all champions have, and Iga is a champion, isn't she?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, and you see that I think you were so right that she needed to get that hold, because you've seen there the first point of the next game, she's made an uncharacteristic forehand error into the net. She sort of looked a little bit lost, like she was in 2 minds of what to do with it. Ended up chopping it rather than going for the power forehand. And there's a miss hit. It's a shank off of the Sloane Stephens racket there. It can fall apart that quickly. I mean, this is what we know with tennis. well, we saw it with Azarenka earlier. I don't know if it's quite the same. That was, I don't know, abysmal from Azarenka, quite frankly. Emma Raducanu was great as well, but that's the perfect storm. One player playing some of their best tennis and another player looking like they don't even know where they are. Like they've never picked up a racket before.
And in no time, Ben, it's 4-2, 40 love. And like we said, a 3-all and a 4-2. The psychological difference that scoreline makes. Iga's on her way to make this 5-2. And a serve down the tee and looking for that 1-2. And she gets it.
Game to
Makes it
love.
1-2-3. She gets it.
Amazing. Just like
I
that. I feel like I've just given her some good luck really coming in.
Totally.
Iga, she's one of my faves. So
just I don't know. It feels like just seconds back we were speaking about possibly a 3-3 each, and now we're at 5-2. This is the beauty. You can have things change around in no time.
We're going to be level, and now there's a 3-game deficit. It's just that quick, isn't it? It's madness, tennis. I'm laughing at some of these comments. We've got Sean laughing when the scoreboard went down, saying, I'm taking my ball home with me. JG saying, my ball. I like it. Yeah, that's it. I know. That's funny. I like that. When you leave the pitch and take your football home and the match cannot continue. Do you see any way back now for Sloane, or is that it? Game, set, match pretty much now?
I don't think Sloane can come back from here. Ben, she's shown these moments of brilliance throughout this match, which is fantastic, especially with the Sloane Stephens. We know this should help her going into the US Open. But I think this is Iga SWIATEK. You got to know that. And I don't think Iga will let this go. Look at the energy with which the Rafa-ness in Iga's run there. You can see the intensity. Iga feeds off all of this momentum that she builds. She loves it. She loves hopping around, jumping around. She's looking to make the 6-2, Ben.
Yeah, I think so as well. Gary saying for 3 weeks now, every time a women's match ends, I think, when's the next one? Constant, compelling action. I couldn't agree more. I think when I look down the list of matches today, that I thought, which ones are like the real ones I'm excited to watch today? I sent a list to JG. There were 6 women's matches and 1 men's. And the men's one, I wouldn't even say it was the one I was super excited about. It was a serve, but it was Kyrgios Fritz. And that's just serving. That's just, for me, there's probably no rallies in that match. It's probably just serves.
Yeah, when you think of a day filled with Azarenka, Raducanu, and now you have Iga, Stephens, these are some matches, and this is just the second round. So I completely get where Gary comes from. It is compelling action, and it's getting even better with each day.
Yeah, it really is. Sloane Stephens, we know she's always someone who can put up a fight as well. So I thought this one could be interesting. If Iga's level is like its best, I feel that there's not really anyone. No one can really compete that much. If her level drops, that's when you get to see an interesting match. I think when she played, when she at the Roland Garros, when she played Kim Win Zheng, you got to see somebody who could really push. I think Zheng could be a real rival of hers, maybe in a year's time or 2 years' time. But she's still very fresh, but starting to come good.
Okay, so now this is a good hold for Sloane Stephens. 3-5, trailing 3-5 here. Speaking of the WTA, Ben, I was discussing this with JG. We saw, obviously, when you think of Naomi Osaka, it's disappointing to see someone like her bow to a 33-year-old in Shuai today. It's not something you want from Naomi Osaka going into the US Open. Does that worry you too, or you see that, it's just a phase and Naomi will get back?
Nah, I feel that the focus is gone at the moment. I don't feel that she's in the right mindset for tennis right now. That's my personal opinion. I'm not going to take anything away from Zhang, though. I think Zhang's having an incredible tournament. I think she's probably being overlooked. She's not dropped a set yet. She defeated Alexandrova in straight sets as well. If she defeats Kontaveit in straight sets, do we need to start putting a bit more respect on her name? Because there are players out there, slightly older, but a lot of experience. They're still good players. I mean, that's the beauty of WTA tennis is if anyone puts it together in any tournament, they could win it.
I mean, what a point here.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Sloane looking to pass through the backhand side of Iga Swiatek. I mean, she's trying, but then this is such a textbook volley from Iga. Not like
using both hands there.
Yeah, I mean, she's trying to be as safe as as careful as she can.
I don't blame her. It must be shaking a little bit trying to serve out for this match.
But Ben, I saw the forehand volley from Iga just a few moments ago, and interestingly, she's not got the cleanest volleys. She's not that good at the net. I mean, even the backhand, she's using both. Yeah, I mean, when you have such good ground strokes, why do you need to volley?
Yeah, one thing that really surprised me with that always surprises me with Raducanu is she's always prepared to hit a drive volley, no matter where the ball, how high the ball flies up in the air. And it could be one that you're looking to normally smash. And she will drive volley these ones that come from a massive height. And she did it against Azarenka earlier, and she hits right near the baseline and winners every time. I'm so impressed. She was doing that at the US Open last year. Drive volley, super attacking. I think that is something people don't give her enough credit for. That's such a hard skill to control.
True. Yeah. I mean, if any of you, I mean, whoever's joining in, if you just think of it, the drive volley is one of the toughest shots in tennis. I mean, definitely you make a great point there. But as we speak, Sloane Stephens has a sneak in here. I mean, she has this opportunity to
into the net from Sloane there.
Nerves. I mean,
can't give those cheap points away. 2 points away for Iga here.
How big was that? I mean,
massive.
42 break points. Again, she's going to that backhand side, which is clearly an indication that she's trying. She has a plan in place, but I mean,
we got David.
You'd rather go out.
Yeah, David saying when her drive volleys are on, Emma is at her best. I think that's a sign of her confidence when she's going for stuff like that. I'm really encouraged by the first. I mean, I know everybody's going to say, well, she's beat 2 of the older women on the tour, 2 mums as well, like 2 people who have not been in good form either. But they're still 2 of the best women players.
Ben, this is a big moment. Big moment. Sloane Stephens is not done here. I mean, she's really, really in this. If she gets this.
Oh, Gene saying better late than never. You're definitely right, Gene. You're definitely right, mate. Better late than never. That's for sure. If you are just joining us, whack a like on the video. Subscribe to Game to Love if you're new to the channel. It's Breakpoint Sloane Stephens. Oh, she's messing up the ball toss now, Iga. What are you doing? Serve is into the net with the first one.
Net.
Yes.
I mean, it's not out. It's not wide. It's not long. It's into the net. Shows how many nerves Iga's feeling.
Well, let's see the second one. I know you were speaking about our double faults and stuff. That one's in, though. We're into the rally. It's into the net, and we've got a break. It's there. Sloane Stephens breaks at the death. Sloane button. I know we don't like it that much, but we'll play it anyway.
It's Sloane, it's Sloane, it's Sloane, it's Stephens.
Oh, that's over. Good.
Just
I don't like hearing that. Ones when Sorry?
I just see a comment saying, hi, Sarthak, hi, Ben from JEAN SWAT. Hi, buddy, and
where's that?
Good to have you on the chat. There's a comment with highs for us. Someone's just joined in. I think.
Oh, give it a click if you're seeing it.
Just a moment.
Ah, there you
we
go.
go.
Nice, Gene.
Good to see you, Gene. Good to see you. I mean, you've come in at a very good stage in this match. I mean, Sloane Stephens is fighting so hard, which is so impressive. I mean, Iga's playing like Iga plays, but Sloane is going after it, and especially, I mean, you can see that this is, if you just look at the screen, Sloane looks far more relaxed, Ben. I mean, this is what I mentioned even in the first
She's
set.
trying to calm herself down, Iga. She's closed her eyes for a good 30 seconds there, trying to get back in the zone.
And the last time these two got up from their chairs, it was Iga running across like Rafa Nadal, but this time Sloane gets up first. Maybe the psychological edge is with Sloane Stephens. Can she make it 5-all, serving 4-5 here? The wild card, the 2017 US Open champion, the 29-year-old Sloane Stephens up against the world number 1 Iga SWIATEK. We're live from the Grandstand Stadium in Cincinnati.
That's right. It's always just wide, a big bullet of a forehand there from Iga. It always seems crazy that whenever there's Sloane Stephens playing, Madison Keys isn't ever far away. And it's always the two who played in the final together. Madison Keys is a break up against Ostapenko in the first set, which is impressive in itself, I have to say.
I mean, I just want to. Oh my God! Iga's. This is massive from Sloane Stephens. 30 love up. And Gene, I'll just read out your comment. I watched your recent show, Sarthak. My friend Rupak was on the show with you. He told me about your channel. Thank you, Gene. Happy that you watched it, and do watch me on Game to Love. This is the place to be.
It is the place. It's long there from Sloane Stephens. Only so many before an error will come. Got David in saying Iga's not really playing at her best. Normal Iga would close that out. Still in recovery from that loss at Wimbledon. I've been feeling the same. I've not been feeling confident with my Iga picks in my brackets and stuff since that loss. But I think it's fine. It's hard to it's long from Iga there. It's hard to emulate once you've had such a long winning run. And we've got to all understand, we were just speaking about a second ago, anybody could win any WTA event. So to go on that much of a winning run on the WTA is incredible, I think.
That's some point. I mean, yes, with the uncertainty, the unpredictability on the WTA side, it's all the more important for us to give credit to that 37 match winning streak. But I mean, it is not the same Iga. The point that you make, I believe it's Cross Court Tennis that made that comment.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a concern without a doubt, especially when you see her lose even at Poland, which is her country. She lost to Caroline Garcia on clay.
Yeah,
on clay. That is not Iga like. And I mean, I didn't even. The double faults concerned me the most at Canada in the third round against Maya. That was something. But we're 5-all here. Iga SWIATEK with the brilliant forehand down the line, running in towards the court. Textbook style finish.
Yeah, it should be noted as well that we were close to being 3-all. Then we were at 5-2. Now we're at 5-all, and Sloane Stephens did just consolidate her break back. I would say we normally get the business end at 4 games all, but we didn't get to 4-all. Now we're at 5-all. We're well and truly in the business end. Right. It is 30
I like
love.
this comment. What the Fokina is going on? I've already moved on. That's a good one.
Come on, MQR. You can't move on yet. It's Sloane Stephens. She's a Grand Slam champion. Never gives up. She's in America. The crowd are on her side. Interesting trainers there for Iga. Team SWIATEK. And look at that. That's
Love
it,
game.
mate. there's part of me that thinks she just breaks now and she wins. Iga. That's the feeling I get with Iga at the moment is she gets all the way to the end of the set, and then there's just like she has like a little bit more. The way I'd compare it is, you know, when you have like a 10,000 meter runner and then they get to that final straight and there's one guy who always goes, right, I've got this 100 meters sprint finish in me. She's a little bit like that. She has like another level to go up. She's like, okay, I'm going to start.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, come on, kick in, bang. I'm going to start hitting and there you go. Game to love straight away. When she wants it, she can do it.
Right, and cross court tennis, she does often struggle serving out. Like she has to save break points and stuff, but even then, she normally holds. It's a shock to the system. Yes,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
And interestingly, Gary too feels that there was a short-term fear, but I think that's over. That's some statement because yes, I mean that was an invincible aura. Everyone was talking about that streak, but I think it's the fears. Do you think there's still the Iga fear in the dressing room, Ben?
I think there's always going to be fear when you're playing her because if she does pull out her best tennis, you'll barely win a game, and that's the problem. If she does turn up, and if she doesn't, and she's half there, you still will be struggling to win a set, and that's like how good she is. I think people have to realize winning runs come to an end. All of the best players in the world, all of the goats of the game, they all have big winning runs. They don't last forever, and then they go on. Sometimes they even lose 2-3 games in a row. I mean, it's unheard of with the big guys, but it does happen sometimes. And you just have to be. You just can't disappear. Like if you're a fan of that person, you can't disappear when they start not doing so well. That's it. You have to stick with them through thick and thin because there's too many fair weather fans these days who are there for the glory.
Yes.
And then as soon as Iga's losing, they're like, well, I don't like her anymore. I'm on to Sloane Stephens, my new favorite now. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's something you've shared there, Ben. I mean, if you're not there through all the times of your fan, I mean, of your the player you love, the player you admire, I mean, then you're not really a fan. I mean, you're just there for the good times. I mean, they need you more in the hard times. And I mean, as we were speaking, I was just admiring what Sloane is doing. I mean, she's going after the backhand side, which is what I've said all through this match. The more she does that, the better her chances. And
the forehand winners are still there, though, aren't they? Look at that. I mean, how is she still connecting and still like they're not even ones Iga can even get to?
This is I mean, can we see a tiebreak here? I mean, that it deserves it. Oh my God.
Iga. Iga's going to do her best so that we don't see one. I'm telling you that now because it's the way that Iga's been serving. I don't think a tiebreak's the last thing that she wants.
So Jean says, did you guys know Iga started her own chocolate factory? I believe. I mean, no, I have no clue. Chocolate milk business back in 2018. Sorry, Sloane started. Wow, what a stage we are in. I didn't know that either. And it's
good for her. Well, good return there. I think it's going to go long.
Match points.
We've got match points.
Match point.
Two of them. This is how quickly it can turn around. One big winner, and then she got faced with winners from Iga, and too much power to handle. 15-40. Match point. Misses the first serve.
Misses the first. I think Iga's going to step in, does she?
Yeah, she's going to. She's definitely going to go for it. To go big forehand, but massive forehand again. It's into the net, and there you go. Iga SWIATEK. She didn't play well. She doesn't have to play well. She just gets the job done and carries on to the next round. Good match, though.
Very good match. I mean, there were so many moments where we were out of our seats. We were cheering loud because we loved those winners. I mean, that
Yeah.
speaks volumes about how good this match was. I mean, both of them. I think Iga obviously had the mentality. It came down to the mindset. Iga knew
Yeah.
that she can win this. In terms of the game, I think both were up there. It's just the mind
Oh,
where Iga
fantastic. I
had
can
the
see
edge.
why Sloane Stevens was able to demolish Elise Cornet though, because if she hit winners like that against Iga and ran her 2 close sets, which not many people do, I could see that Iga would have probably done the same thing to Elise Cornet as well. Would have probably just hit winners down the lines, cross court, and Cornet, she's not the most powerful player. I mean, she's a good percentage tennis player, but I wouldn't say that she has abundance of power. So when she comes up against those power hitters, she's sort of a bit like a deer in the headlights. She doesn't know where to go. So you can see right now, this is the outfit Ostapenko. What do you think?
I mean, it's bold. She's bold. I'll just keep it to the one word, bold.
Yeah,
I'll let the comment section do the talking.
Yeah, indeed. Well,
and Ben, I was speaking about the match we have coming up tomorrow. Felix is playing Sinner.
Yeah.
I mean, that is. I mean, we always spoke of the next gen, including the Tsitsipases, the Zverevs, and the Medvedevs, the teams. And for me, the next gen now is Felix, Sinner, Alcaraz. I think these three will carry the torch for a very long time. And
Felix has got a little bit. I feel like he can get there. Just needs to get the mental go in the right place, and he will. But
I mean, you got a sense in Montreal that Felix could go all the way, but I mean, I was disappointed with the performance he came up with against Rude. I mean, Ben. So I mean, I want your thoughts on Felix and Sinner, and what do you make of the next gen in these three?
Well, I feel like Sinner has a slightly better mental side of his game. I feel that Sinner is probably more dangerous across all surfaces. I feel that Felix, great on the grass, great on the hard court as well. Maybe slightly not so good on the clay, but I think that he's got all the potential to do well. I just don't feel like mentally he's quite there yet. Doesn't mean that he won't ever get there. I feel that Alcaraz is the best equipped mentally to become like a multiple-time Grand Slam champion. For the desire, for the just willingness just to keep on fighting in matches and that type of thing. I feel the other ones that once the chips are down, they sort of they don't know where to turn. They don't have a plan B, that type of thing. I'm quite interested to get your take on the matches tomorrow before we wrap up. And it's been a great first time to have you on the channel. Really appreciate you coming on for this one. It's been good fun. I want to get your takes on just some of the matches. I'm just going to name a few of the matches tomorrow. Right. And we'll start with Sinner versus... maybe we'll start with the one tonight, because I'm not going to touch on Nadal. I think people are probably going to think Nadal is probably going to win. Francis Tiafoe versus Sebastian Korda, which Korda's a name that sort of sometimes gets thrown in with the new gen people, but sometimes they just leave him out. He's obviously somebody who can beat Alcaraz, but lost to him last time they played. He's somebody who can beat a lot of players, and he's dangerous. He's tall. He's got a big serve. His father, Grand Slam finalist and champion, I believe. So it's a real big match for him, I think, Korda. I had him going to the semi-finals of this tournament. That's a big call, I know. But if he beats TFO, do you think he can?
Personally, I really like TFO. I think he's a great entertainer, and he brings so much life and personality without being a bad boy, without the banter, without the verbal barrage or anything negative. I mean, he can be this enigmatic personality with his own goodness, with the humility, with the fun, with the just the person that he is.
I
We
love
saw
it.
that with Gail Monfils.
Yeah.
I mean, Monfils was one of the biggest entertainers. So I'm not someone who is anti Nick Kyrgios, but you don't have to abuse to be an entertainer. You can be an entertainer without just being too aggressive too. I mean, we saw the nicest people in Monfils, and now when you speak of TFO,
Yeah.
I think that is the level of entertainment that guy brings. I would still give the edge if I'll go with you. I mean, I would still give the edge to Sebastian Korda. Yeah.
Well, we've got David in. He's saying TFO undefeated versus Korda, 3-0 in their head-to-head. I'm still going with Korda as well. I feel that sometimes TFO can get a bit too wrapped up in the crowd and making a show, and forget sometimes that he's in a tennis match. He sometimes needs to just focus a little bit more and stop being just playing up to the crowd and doing all the antics. I like it, but sometimes you do it at the detriment of your own performance. And I feel that you're expending energy in the wrong thing. Like sometimes running around to the crowd and celebrating and jumping up. And even though Monfils used to do it, what big tournaments was he really winning or that type of thing? There wasn't many of them, was there? So we've got that one. We've got Korda for that one. Sinner versus Felix. Who are you going for on that one?
I'm going with Yannick Sinner because I think the first match that Sinner played when he beats Kokkinakis in that marathon 3 hours plus match with 3 sets, and it was a thriller. And I think there were 2 tie breaks, I believe, in that one. I think that pretty much set the tone for Yannick Sinner to, because he's coming in with a title win at Croatia. He could have maybe even not played this tournament, but he wants to play. He wants to win against Kokkinakis in 3. He doesn't want to give any. He's fighting. You saw him even against Kecmanovic today. I mean, even though it was a walkover eventually. I mean, because Kecmanovic, I believe, retired. But he through the first set, I think it was 7-5 in the first, I believe. Yannick Sinner is hungry. I mean, you spoke of the willingness and the desire from Alcaraz. I think Sinner doesn't show it as much as Alcaraz in terms of the on-court demeanor, but Sinner is hungry. Maybe hungrier because Alcaraz has got the hype. Sinner didn't have it. Through like the pre-French Open hype everything was about Alcaraz. Everything was about Alcaraz, even going into Wimbledon, and maybe that has sort of given Sinner that added hunger. But I mean, these two are going to make some of the greatest, one of the greatest tennis rivalries eventually. But I'm going with Sinner against Felix, even though I feel Felix is going to. I have picked him to make a deep run at the US Open, but I don't think he can get past Sinner.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to go for Sinner, but there's something, I don't know. There's something about Felix this week. I don't know. I feel that he might defeat Sinner tomorrow. So I'm going to go Felix on that one. Just a quick one. The last one I'll ask for you on, because it's a little bit of a controversial one. We've got Nicolette in there saying, I also feel Sinner is hungrier. He's really been catching up. Yeah, he really has. I definitely agree. Last one, just before we wrap it up. Shapo's won a couple of matches now. Today, in dramatic fashion, came back from 4-1 down, a set down, and then won the match. And now he faces Daniil Medvedev. Can he defeat Daniil Medvedev? That's the question I pose to you.
I think this is a tough one. I mean, this could be the match of the tournament because both these men have gone through so much off the court. I mean, we've seen what Medvedev went through in terms of Wimbledon. I mean, Shapo's been facing a lot of challenges off the court. There are a lot of difficulties he's going through, and a lot of, I mean, both of them would want to channelize their, if I may say so, off-court frustration to winning on court. And I mean, this is going to be a clash. And when I saw Shapo play today, he was down and out as we were into the second set. There was an instance where someone fainted in the stands, and the match had to be. There was a good, I think, 8-10 minute pause or so, which shifted the momentum in favor of Shapo, and I think that is where everything turned, and he went on to win in 3. So, but obviously, if I have to pick one, I will still go with Medvedev, simply because you saw what he did in, I believe it was Los Cabos, and he's got the title win. That was his first ATP title win of 2022, Ben. And right. I mean, he couldn't have asked for a better time. Again, when Kyrgios came in with that win in Washington, and then the Kyrgios Medvedev clash was like the big one in the second round. And when Kyrgios won that, I was again asking myself, why did Medvedev lose this? I mean, what is Medvedev not doing right? But Kyrgios is playing a totally different league.
He can
of
do that
tennis
to anyone, though.
He can do that to anyone on any day. But I think Medvedev is the defending US Open champion. He's just won at Mexico. I think he has the edge going up against Shapo. What do you think?
I think so too. I think it's consistency over erraticness, or is that a word? Erraticness? Did I just make that up? Quite possibly. Being erratic, it can work sometimes for Shapo. Sometimes he just goes for the jumping backhand 100 times and he gets 99 of them in a match. Sometimes he only gets one of them. And that's the difference for Shapo in his confidence level. If he starts hitting well, Shapo's nearly unplayable. I mean, we see him defeated Zverev in straight sets at the Australian Open, and not many people can do that to Zverev on hard court. So that's the type of person that you're dealing with. I don't think that's what we're going to see. Tommy Paul seemed to he made hard work of Tommy Paul, and no offense to Tommy Paul, because I think he's having a great year. He's not Daniel Medvedev. So I think Medvedev will just frustrate him, get everything back in court, keep making him play an extra ball. And as long as Medvedev serves well, it's at least a tie break.
Yeah, I think I'll second what cross court tennis is saying. I see Medvedev winning in straight sets too. It'll be 2 tough sets, but I think it's straight sets for Medvedev.
Yeah, right. I'm going to wrap this one up anyway, Sarthak. Want to say a big thank you for joining us on this one. A big thanks to everybody who did join us for the match, because it was a cracker in the end. JG started it off. I finished it off. Sarthak was there for the majority. But we have to say congratulations to Iga SWIATEK. She will play the winner of Madison Keys versus Jelena Ostapenko. And JG wanted a button, so JG gets what he wants.
Iga SWIATEK. The bakery be opening when the Polish girl be rolling in. Each victim be serving them breadstick in a bagel, and I'm Iga when I'm your child. I'm a feature, gonna beat ya. I'm Iga, gonna beat ya. Now you can't handle my heat now.
Right, that's it. Right. Thank you, Sarthak. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you for Rafa in, I think it's scheduled for midnight. So we'll have to wait and see how the other matches play out. But we'll see you in around about an hour's time.
Thank you, Ben. Great to be on the show. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers, guys.